I'm Owen Big Len. This is the Inside Edge video blog. Okay, I want to share a couple of topics on this blog today. Talk about a few things. Some, on the street, real life story here that I know you guys like from me. Had an interesting sale here that collapsed, actually. I'll give you the story with this, and we're going to talk about pet restrictions here in vicious breeds. And then I'm also going to tell you about, $1.3 million one bedrooms have arrived. And I'll tell you about a couple of recent ones here and get ready for more of these coming. They're selling. I had a very good unit, nice unit in the West End, a 2-bed, 1-bath, fully renovated, good strata, good area in the West End, a block from Seawall. Really nice little unit. I listed it. I got a lot of action on it and ended up getting an offer on it. And it was a little peculiar situation here. This particular strata just approved pets. Up until about 4 months ago, no pets allowed. Now they will allow 1 dog or 1 cat. And of course, I got a copy of the bylaws, and there's some restrictions in there on the pets. There's a height restriction, no taller than 24 inches, and a weight restriction. I think it was maximum 40 or 45 pounds. So not they're not allowing huge dogs. And then, of course, there was no vicious breeds or mixes. And this is very common. Most stratas have this. So vicious breeds or mixes, it's things like, pit bull terriers and those kind of things. And they listed a whole bunch of them in there. Get the offer. Guy asked me about pets. My guy's got a dog. Okay, no problem. Here's a copy of the bylaws. Before he wrote the offer, it's all in there. We get an accepted offer. 3 days later, he calls me back and says, hey, I want to make sure we measured the dog and it's exactly 24 inches. Just want to get written approval from the strata that they will allow this dog. And I said, well, I don't think the strata is going to do that. I'll ask, but the property manager is going to refer me to the bylaws, which I sent to you. Height restriction, if it's 24 inches exactly, you should be fine. As long as it's under 40 pounds, you're fine, no vicious breeds. He got back to me and said, hey, I'm going to send you a photo of the dog. Can you just run this by, and this is the height and it's 24 inches. Very peculiar. I got a photo of the dog, and immediately I thought, this dog looks like a pit bull. So I got back to him and I said, what is this type of dog? And he came back with a dog I've never heard of. I looked it up online. It was like a rescue dog of some sort. But I said, this is some sort of a mix. He goes, yeah, it is. It's a mix with this breed. Well, what is the other breed? I don't know. I'll have to check. Gets back to me, and it's a pit bull. It's a mix, and it looks 100% like a pit bull. I think it's more pit bull than anything. I said, listen, it's not going to happen. I'll send this to the strata manager, but I know right now that if you've got a mix here, it says strictly in the bylaws that if you've got a mix of a pit bull in there, they're not going to allow it. So the deal collapsed. Now, I moved on and immediately got a collapse of sale. I had a lot of interest in this home, and as I speak right now, I've got another offer on this home. Subjects come off in a couple of days. It is a fantastic unit. I knew I wasn't going to have any problem selling this. But, it got me wondering. I told the buying realtor on this, I said, you've got one of two choices here. You can collapse the deal, or your buyer, unfortunately, is going to have to get rid of the dog. Now, I know how people feel about pets. They're family, and I totally understand that. If this was a normal breed of dog, not a vicious breed, it would be fine, 100%. But, these vicious breed dogs, most stratas, not all, I know there are some stratas that do not have that in the bylaws, that they will allow a pit bull. But for the majority, they do have a vicious breed bylaw in there. And, they just don't want these type of dogs riding in elevators and in close quarters. I can understand that. But after the deal collapsed, I thought to myself, gee, this realtor is really up against it with this buyer. I mean, he let a very, very good unit go here, which now I've got an offer on, of course. And, kind of good luck trying to find a good quality strata in the price range he's looking at, which is the starter level market, with a pit bull. You are very limited on what you're going to be able to go after. I know there are some stratas, but for the most part, most have a vicious breed bylaw in there. So, this is something that if I was that realtor, I would have a real sit down talk with this buyer and say, listen, this dog of yours is going to be a real hindrance here to you finding a good quality unit. you may want to consider, giving that dog to someone else or a family member, or of course going to a detached home. But of course detached home is out of the price range for this guy, and he's going to be very limited on what he's going to be able to find in downtown Vancouver that allows vicious breeds like that. Very limited. Another topic here. So you're going to start to see, I've talked about this before, how moving forward here, all the new developments that are going to be coming online here in downtown Vancouver are going to be ultra luxury units starting at $1,900 a square foot for a low floor unit in the alley, to well over $3,000, $3,500 a square foot. So I'm now starting to see $1.2, $1.3, $1.4 million one bedrooms. So I'll give you one right here that just sold. This is in the Pacific by Grosvenor. 889 Pacific Street. Now, I really like this building. I've talked about this. I did a couple of tweets on this building. I've got some clients in that building. I'm expecting to have a listing in there probably later this year or next year. And I just had a look at some of the units that are just now getting occupancy in there. Very nice building. I know some people I saw on Twitter there aren't a big fan of the design. I disagree. I think it's a real clean looking building. Grosvenor is a very good developer, good reputation. The finishings in this building are excellent. Nice balconies. Some of the higher floor ones will have unobstructed western views of English Bay. Spectacular sunsets, lots of warm golden light that's coming into those western ones. Really nice building, but not cheap. This was a 8th floor, 1-bedroom unit, 720 square feet. This was listed for 165 days. So you see, they had this listed before they had completion on it. It's a little tougher sale. You're buying it off a brochure. But not surprisingly, as soon as they got occupancy on this building and this particular unit, it sold right away for full ask. Listed at 1.3, sold for 1.3. And remember, you have $65,000 of GST on that. So we're talking $1,365,000 for a 1-bed, 720 square feet on the 8th floor. This is no view on this one. This is facing east in the back. Yeah, if you want, so that works out to just under $1,900 a square foot for what I would call an entry-level 1-bedroom in here. If you want something on a little higher floor, 22nd floor, there's an 890 square foot, 2-bed, 2-bath with 1 parking, currently listed at $2.2 million, plus GST. So that's $2,600 a square foot. This is going to be the norm here, people. Now, I like this building a lot. I think the guy that bought this unit, this 720 square foot, sure, he paid a premium, but hey, it's a nice building, really nice building. But I know a lot of you will say, well, that's ridiculous. And hey, if you would have told me 10 years ago that we're going to start to see $1.2, $1.3, $1.4 million, 700 square foot 1-beds on low floor, I would have said, gee, that's a lofty price. This is getting into Manhattan prices, I would have said at that point. But this is going to be the norm moving forward here. You're going to see a lot of this. Have a look. There's a bunch of listings, and these are selling. These are selling. $2.2, $2.3 million for a small 2-bed and 2-bath. 890 square feet, 1 parking. Nice outlook on that one. That one's on the 22nd floor. But this is what you're going to see. The last thing I'll say here is, I have seen some good older stratas that are reno. There's one, I'm not going to give it to you here because I might have a buyer for this one. I'm going to have a look at this unit in a couple of days. Very good older building in the West End that's had a huge amount of remediation work done. Very proactive strata. They on these 2-bed, 2-bath units, the owners had about $110,000 levy about 6 years ago. It wasn't a leaky condo. It was 30 years old. They redid all the exterior, did the balconies, new windows, new elevators. Very nice strata. This particular unit is on the 23rd floor, unobstructed views of English Bay, beautiful views, 160 square foot balcony. And it's listed at it's just over 1,000 square feet for 1.9. 2 parking spaces. pretty good value. Now, when you look at it compared to what's going right across the street, like the Pacific, a unit like that would be, you know, about another $1 million more. So when you start to look at some of the new stuff that's coming online here, pretty lofty prices here, and they are being bought. The market is, Vancouver's changed. There's definitely money coming into this city. I really do like this Pacific by Grosvenor, but there you go here. $1,365,000 GST in for a 720 square foot one bed. It's on the way. Again, if you walk down Alberni Street right now in the West End, there's probably 6 or 7 development permits there. You've got that Kengo building going up right now. You've got the Alberni just across the street that just got finished. Lofty prices here, and they are being sold. But this is what's going to be moving forward, and why I've said that if you can still get a good one bed or a two bed for $1,150, $1,200 a square foot, $1,300 a square foot, which are out there, no problem. I can get you in at that price. The way things are moving forward here, that's going to look like a fairly good buy compared to some of the prices that are coming out for new build. I'm Owen Bigline. As always, thanks for watching. I'll see you next week.